Well, it's looking pretty good in terms of the steady pace of shoppers. And I can tell you, when we got here a couple of hours ago, just before dark, it was still a challenge to find a parking place. However, talking to shoppers today, especially those who are early birds, they'll tell you that Black Friday just doesn't seem the same as it once was not too long ago. And there may be a lot of reasons for that. For some, old habits die hard.
It's just fun, just the nostalgia and, getting out early.
I like Cyber Monday, but I like to be in person more. So it supports the community. We get out, it's fun.
But when the Walden Galleria opened its doors at 6 this morning, they couldn't help but notice.
I was quite surprised to see nobody in here.
It's so empty.
Yeah, so it's different now.
Much different than even a decade ago, as this archive video from our coverage of Black Friday 2013 shows. The days when shoppers lined up the night before to be first in the crush that followed for the doorbuster deals, and when the crowds were wall to wall inside the malls. Jessica Fancher remembers.
Back in the day, I usually host Thanksgiving, so I would host dinner and then would run out to Toys R Us or some stores that would be open on Thanksgiving.
So what's changed? Well, certainly the growth of online shopping and goods delivered to your door, and a more recent trend of retailers conducting early Black Friday sales online weeks prior to the traditional shopping day.
They just keep getting earlier and earlier. The season gets long. The spending season, if you will, gets just longer and longer.
UB Associate Professor of Marketing Charles Lindsay says this also means that for retailers, their entire holiday sales are no longer as largely pegged to a single day.
Still important, but not as important as a percent of total holiday spending, November and December, as those days used to be.
And also, since those heady days of Black Fridays passed, there was also blowback against retailers whose employees would start working on Thanksgiving night and straight into the Black Friday madness that followed.
I think there was more excitement when things were open, but I do appreciate that places are closed on Thanksgiving so that people can be home for the holidays, and it makes it a little bit less of a crazed atmosphere.
That is not to say, though, that people were not hitting the stores, as these pictures from the Niagara Falls fashion outlets taken early this afternoon would indicate. And indeed, as you might remember, Mary Alice, if you covered Black Friday stories of yore, you remember going to places like Summit Park Mall up in Niagara Falls that it doesn't really exist anymore. Eastern Hills, Boulevard, McKinley, they've all seen their challenges in recent years as well. But still here at the Galleria, it looks like a pretty good clip. And Mary Alice, I'll get to work on that list you slipped to me just before we went out the door today. On your side at Walden Galleria, Dave McKinley, Channel 2 News.